Hello, my name is Erica, and I'm the Dyslexic Trekkie. This week I'll be analyzing the third episode of Star Trek Voyager. Though I will go through episodes in the order of the series lineup, I won't be going over every episode. I might even combine a few of them together if I think they are relevant, but Janeway's part is relatively small. The show starts in the infirmary with an engineer receiving treatment for a broken nose. It turns out some of the Maquis are not adjusting well to Starfleet codes of conduct. This doesn't bode well because Captain Janeway later talks with Commander Chakotay about filling some of the now vacant positions within the senior staff. The issue is all the people next up in rank are from the original crew. The commander thinks some of the Maquis crew should be considered. He has a good point. Many of them are capable and have as much, if not more, experience than the Federation crew being considered. Only problem is, they've not gone through Federation training, and as said, aren't all doing well under the new system. Janeway is concerned that promoting them over Starfleet crew is unfair. She's also had some bad reports about the candidate in question. Chakotay makes the suggestion while they're in their report. She airs her concerns, but agrees to consider Torres. The report is interrupted by Neelix and Cass, who wind up giving some sound advice on ways to help expand the crew's rations. This gets interrupted by a jolt in the ship. It appears there is a singularity with what looks like another ship trapped in it. After what appears to be a distress call stating that the ship is in danger, the ship goes in to investigate, getting trapped into a distortion of time. After some confusion, they finally are able to hear the distress call undistorted. It's Janeway's message to the ship in the distortion, asking if they are in distress. Janeway works with B'Elanna Torres to work out the best way to identify how to get out. The two take a runabout to work out their plan, giving Janeway a chance to talk with B'Elanna about her candidacy and her previous time in Starfleet. Before this, Janeway was less and less interested in making B'Elanna the chief of engineering. But as the two work together, Janeway gives B'Elanna some insight into how her former teachers really thought of her. Once back on the ship, Janeway decides to give Torres the promotion to Chief of Engineering. It's made clear she's going to have to work to earn the trust and respect of the Federation crew, Federation style. Though this first part isn't really about Janeway, it does create the episode's issue. Torres lets her temper get the better of her in spite of the fact that she's stronger than most members of the crew. The later considerations have to take this into account. Realistically speaking, Torres' biggest issue isn't her being Maquis. It's this. She hadn't learned to manage her emotions. She can and has really hurt people. She may be the most technically qualified, but she needs control. I will address this when examining B'Elanna. I think it's also easy to forget exactly how volatile things were in these first few episodes. This was accepting enemy combatants as a part of the crew in a time of war. They were bound to need some time for adjustment. I keep saying Janeway was in a situation no other captain in this series had or would have ever been in. Imagine if Kirk had been expected to suddenly have half his crew be Klingons and Romulans, with no sign of help from the Federation. Once in the report, Janeway airs her thoughts on Torres. As stated, this isn't ideal, and B'Elanna hasn't exactly put her best foot forward. Then there's Cass and Neelix. It's played a little as a joke that they think they weren't informed of the meeting, but actually weren't supposed to be there. Cass makes some very good points, and they both share sound ideas the crew wouldn't have considered. It's telling that the two are frequently at the meetings after this. Janeway doesn't see them as a joke. However, nothing's ever simple in the Delta Quadrant. They are interrupted by the ship being jolted out of nowhere. This is where the episode hijinks come in, and we get to enjoy the confusing world of temporal paradoxes. A distress signal makes them look closer into the distortion. Of course, we all know who the signal comes from, but who comes up with a quantum temporal singularity? I really think the writing team had a dartboard with terms on it and strung them together as needed. Props to Neelix for helping with the exposition by trying to impress Cass. Stepping away from the crisis at hand, I feel the discussion with Chakotay shows the real struggle Janeway and the rest of the crew are having. Here, she has her people who fought to get through the academy and reach the positions they're in, and now there's this crew who are expected to circumnavigate the process and sometimes be promoted above them. There's no winning in this situation. She's right. She can't make it easy for them. The Maquis have to earn their promotions, if only to make the integration work better. I'm not sure Chakotay sees that. Watching the interaction between B'Elanna and Janeway makes me wonder something. Did B'Elanna not get that this was basically a job interview? I think Janeway was all set to reject Torres before seeing her. She took Chakotay's suggestion to meet her seriously. How would Torres have acted if she had gotten that point? Likely exactly the same way. We forget exactly how broken some of the people in this show really are in the beginning. There's a reason B'Elanna's instinct was to come out swinging. There's that moment just before B'Elanna storms out. Janeway asks why she quit the academy. I wish Torres hadn't given the angry answer she did. She's good at what she does. She learned it somewhere. The question doesn't sound like what you ask a person you're writing off. I think Janeway found her next lost lamb. During the briefing, when B'Elanna is asked to come along, there's a moment I always enjoy. It's when we get to remember Janeway was originally a science officer. B'Elanna works out a solution by considering something everyone else had dismissed. The Doctor's distortion. The whole time all of this is going on, the Doctor is shrinking. He is becoming centimeters shorter every minute. It's played off as just a dismissed issue because the Doctor at this time isn't really considered a person, a topic that will come up, and I had to edit out from this video. You can see Janeway's opinion change. That's when they find out the message was actually just coming from them. I hate temporal confusion. And then there's that bit where Torres and Janeway work out the solution. She and B'Elanna get into this zone where they work together to figure out how to handle the situation. The exacts don't matter, it's made-up science, but we see Janeway really have fun trying to work out the solution. Let's take a moment for Tom Paris in that briefing. He has to sum up the absolute absurdity of the situation. Exposition is a terrible thing to do to a character, but he knocks it out of the ballpark. I really love the scenes in the shuttlecraft between Janeway and B'Elanna. I think these quiet moments between her and the crew members are when we see her at her best. This is when she gets to bring her lamb in. Yes, I'm keeping this metaphor. B'Elanna assumed everyone at the academy saw her the way she saw herself, a washout and a failure. As I said, she had to learn her engineering somewhere. Alone, and after B'Elanna has been able to show her best side, Janeway can make it clear no one saw her that way. The people she assumed hated her actually held deep respect for her and liked her. This is a really lovely moment, and you see Janeway pull down a couple of those walls B'Elanna held up so firmly. Then, there's the final moment, when B'Elanna is made Chief of Engineering. This whole episode was made to bring us to this moment. How considerate of the anomaly to come along to help out. So what does this episode show us? It's not just another case of Janeway helping a lost lamb. It's something deeper. These first few episodes are all about adjustment, getting used to being in this quadrant, getting used to not having the same help other ships would have, adapting to a crew who once were enemies, and replacing lost crew. This isn't the last of the growing pains, but it's an important step. The Maquis do have a place in the crew, and do have the opportunity to prove they can be leading parts of the crew. If Janeway had just given B'Elanna the position, even if she hadn't had justifiable reservations, it wouldn't have been so easily accepted. Some things are supposed to be hard. Thank you for watching. If you have any thoughts, feelings, or ideas relating to this episode, please share in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Again, my name is Erica, and I'm the Dyslexic Trekkie. This doesn't bode well, comma. Mommy forgot the comma. Disruption. Yeah, I know. Ensign Bradbury is not pleased. With no sight of... Yeah, that would be bad, wouldn't it? Here. I can't get the words out right and you really went down. You want me to hurry up? I'm trying. Okay, I'll hurry up, okay? I can't resist. I'm sorry. He's just too good. And Oh, you want me to rub your chin? Okay. Ensign Bradbury has a request for his captain. I can't refuse. I mean, who could say... Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm talking about you. But I gotta finish this video, okay? I'm getting close, I promise.